Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shampoo and Booze. This is episode number 51 at shampooandbooze.com.
Ryan, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Which is what?
Why have we not been recording this podcast?
Yeah.
So the answer is very simply paying taxes.
Yes, that's really the big reason.
Yeah. Since we're self-employed, we run a business. Anyone that is not a W-2 employee knows you have to pay your own taxes. And we just happened to make more money last year than we expected.
Right.
So when we went to our accountant, we got a pretty hefty tax bill that we had not kind of expected.
Now, I will say we paid quarterly, but we didn't actually pay our last quarter. So that's part of what we owe.
Because we made the strategic decision to put that money towards the renovation, hoping to finish it and kind of, and you pay a little fine. But anyway, that's what the thing is. So we kind of had to put everything on hold and just focus on making money. The good news is that we have paid our 2016 taxes.
We did it
before we had to, and so it's all good.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something. I mean, we've been self-employed now for a while.
Yeah.
A good
over 10 years
now. So, but I remember those first couple of years, it was, for me especially, having been a W-2 employee where taxes are just taken out of my
it's shocking at
you're
the
like
end of the year.
Wait a second, well,
and also if you're not paying quarterly because you're like, what, why would I have to do that? Like, you're just ignorant, and then at the end of the year you're like, how much do I owe? What? I didn't put any of that money aside. You're not,
but it's all good. I mean, we don't pay more taxes than other people. It's just, I think for self-employed people, it's more transparent, you know, like it's not kind of hidden because it's taken out of your paycheck. And,
and you have to deal with it. It's not like someone else is kind of putting that money in, withholding it. It's like you have to write the quarterly check. You have to write the check at the end of the year. It's not like you just file the paperwork.
And anyone's that's self-employed, those quarterly, you have to pay your taxes for 2016 by whatever, April 18th or something.
This year it's
coming
different.
up soon. But then quarterly taxes for 2017 are due basically at the same time. So
we're like,
welcome. Okay, so let's talk about the Farmhouse,
which is our current rental that is in business.
Right. And so we talked about January and February are slow months because where we live, it's wintertime and it's a vacation area and just people don't really come. But we still did pretty good. I mean, we made between $1,500 and $2,000 each of those 2 months.
Right. So we paid our costs.
Yeah. Right. So, it paid off the mortgage and the cost.
Utilities.
And,
with a little more.
Yeah.
A little extra.
So that's great for us.
That's what our goal is for those slow months. It's either shut down and do nothing, make no money, don't cover the costs at all.
Right.
Or you just keep going.
And we actually, we hired a cleaner starting last year.
Yeah.
But like during these slow months, we actually started cleaning the house ourselves again, just to save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And it was fine, And
a lot of times it is just a couple. So when it's just a couple, you're cleaning one bedroom. I mean, you're cleaning everything else too, but you're not making 3 beds. So that's nice.
So, March is when it starts picking up for us because school's out and...
Well, spring break.
Yeah. I mean, April is doing pretty good too, although it still feels a little bit slow, and we're hoping for some last-minute bookings. Because, our hope is during the time when vacationers come, 20 nights a month is what we're shooting for.
Goal.
We're doing more like 15 months.
Nights.
It's 15 nights.
Yeah.
So...
but 15 nights in April that's really not bad.
Now, here's the thing, though. So... It feels slower than I think it is. I mean, we're making between $3,000 and $4,000 now, and I think one issue is that I think it's our expectations. Where we've been kind of expecting our profit to keep going up,
right?
And that might necessarily not, So we're kind of figuring out what's the maximum we can make on this place,
right? And we're trying to figure out what's the maximum we can charge. That's not like. Because we have a nice place, it's not like we're like just squeeze as much as you can out of it. It's like, what are people willing to pay for a nice place that holds 6 people?
Right. And I think each of us that have a rental, we each have a different strategy, or we think about it in a different way. So we go on, like Airbnb or VRBO, and we look at what other people in our area are charging.
Yeah.
And then we compare what we have to what they have, and then we think, do we try and be on the lower end?
Right.
So we're always booked up? Do we try and compete head to head so we're just at the same price? Or do we think, well, we have a much nicer place, so we think we can aim for the higher part of its market? And that's what we've chosen to do.
We've been trying that. Yeah.
And this year, actually, it's Ryan. I mean, you're the one that kind of spearheaded this. You actually raised our prices by $50 a night this year.
Yes.
And we're a little worried, like,
is that too much?
And maybe that's why we're not getting as many bookings, because we are charging more.
Yeah. And then, as any person who's in retail, this is kind of like retail knows, but if you bring the prices up but have less bookings, you're either making the same amount of money or you're making more.
Right.
So it's kind of like a toss-up,
Right.
as to will it be the same profit at the end of the year.
I mean, the good news is, I think for us, is that we need to do these experiments because, we don't want to leave money on the table.
Right.
And the worst that happens is that if we feel like we're losing its reservations, then we can just lower its prices back to what they were.
And we have done that during the springtime, we're in super early spring. It's freezing outside right now. But, if we're like, oh, we didn't get a booking this weekend and it's Monday, we will lower. I mean, we do adjust the price. We're like, let's bring it down a little bit so people's searches for the weekend, will bring us up.
But let's talk about the free market. I mean, like I was looking today at other places in our area, and I saw a couple of new ones pop up. And like, there's one place that's right on it's river. So it's
like the river's in their backyard.
It's riverfront property, which is like what people love. They're charging $100 a night,
which is extremely low. That's the lowest rate I've ever seen in our county, actually.
And
for a whole house.
And I think, like as Ryan said, that's kind of, we assume it's not someone that has a business, but someone that just has like their own vacation house, and then they're just like, well, let's just
their profile says that.
Oh, really?
They're like, this is our house that we go to.
So there's no assumption.
They're basically trying to cover their utilities and their mortgage if they have one, which is really smart of them. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to run a business here.
Yeah, right.
But then again, it's just one cabin. It's not like they have like 8 cabins at that price.
Yeah.
So that gets booked and then we're available. Right. So, but to see that price, I'm like, dude, I can't compete with $100 a night on the river. I can't.
So it's a little bit stressful because, we're like, why aren't we getting fully booked? But, we, is it because we're pricing high? Is it just because that's just, the time of year?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really have enough information, but I think for us, we like to do these experiments versus just automatically price it kind of low and then just have it right.
It's good for us to experiment, but because like you said, we can bring the price down. If we're like, man, people just aren't booking, it's like, bring it back down to last year's prices. But the good thing is for us, weekends, almost every single weekend gets booked, especially in the summer. And a lot of the weekdays in the summer get booked. So that's like peak season where I'm like, you can't go wrong with higher prices. Like, the stuff will just get booked.
And we kind of hope, like we saw it last year, that we're not the only ones in the area that are comparing its prices. And we saw some other people that own cabins. I can't guarantee that this is why they did it, but I feel like they were raising their prices too. So that's what we're hoping too, that we start pegging the price a little higher and the other nicer places start bringing their prices up too.
And the good thing about that is then the expectation of our area is that's the median price.
Right. So instead of us playing the let's race to its bottom kind of thing, that we're trying to help, whatever, raise all boats, or
right, a rising tide raises all boats. But so for us, it's like the people who are on the same level quality-wise as us, we want them to say, oh, they can charge that much, I want to charge that much, which is good for us. Because I'm like, then people are like, oh, the nicer places are this much, and that's how much they are. And everyone can benefit from that.
So, something that's kind of cool that's happening right as we speak.
Right now.
Is we have an Instagram star.
It sounds so funny.
In our farmhouse.
She's like a fashion...
She's an influencer.
It's such a funny word.
So, here's the deal. There's this new site. I guess it's new. We just found out about it called...
Glamping Hub.
Glamping.
Okay, so explain what glamping is.
It's glamorous camping.
Right, which is funny because you're not really camping in our house.
Yeah, you know, so it's a site.
It's a buzzword.
Kind of like Airbnb. I guess it's like helping young people in urban areas get out to the country.
Right, which is cool.
And they, you know, it's like tree houses, and you're in like trailers and actual like camping, but it's like really fashionable. And I guess they're probably just trying to expand their reach to just, well, how about just like homes in the country, you know, like that's anyway. So they reached out to us and they were like, you know, we want you on the site. And we're like, sure, why not?
We'll go on it.
It's free.
Site, yeah.
But then they also said, and we had this program right now where we're sending like influencers to stay in different places, and then they like take photos,
social media,
and videos,
they do Instagram, they do photos, they blog about it,
and so you
that's
know,
cool. That's
so, and they said it's free for you, but you have to give them free nights. So basically, we gave this girl and her boyfriend a weekend, which is probably about $500 to us. So it's not free. So we lose $500, but you know, she has 75,000 followers on Instagram,
which is a lot.
Yeah, I was kind of skeptical. I mean, you know, we are social media people too. And I'm like, it's so silly, but they were very nice people.
They were super cool.
Last night.
They brought their dogs. Yeah. It was so cute.
And it's like one of these experiments. Like, it's not very much money. And I don't know, 75,000 people. What if, you know, 100 people booked? I mean,
that would be insane.
Right.
But the cool thing is, like, they're based in DC. So you're like, if her followers are in our area or New York, yeah, I want people to be like, where is this place? I want to book a weekend. Like that's advertising, you know? So that's kind of fun way to advertise.
So right now, and that being said, you know, we had not been on Instagram before. It was just, we were more Twitter people. But...
Well, so like my sister was visiting us, and she's on Instagram. She's 32, so she's 5 years younger than me. And she's like, you're not on Instagram? I'm like, no. And she's like, you gotta get on Instagram.
Well, I mean, we had Instagram accounts when it started. We just chose. We were just like, it's just another thing.
I just didn't put anything up. But the thing was that I didn't realize was how people were using it to promote their businesses. I mean, I understand some people, like, because we're in the eBay world, some people were selling stuff on Instagram, like vintage clothing. For Airbnb people, I was like, this is interesting. So it's interesting to talk about it because you want to get a following. You want people to be looking for the tag Airbnb and looking for the tag of your area and finding Airbnbs. And so it's a way, it's like a social media visual search.
Yeah.
So I was like, I do want to get on there because I want to connect with other local businesses in my area, like the winery, and there's a whiskey distillery, and I want to like promote them and they promote us, and people are hanging out on Instagram tagging our town and our county. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's how I understood it, you know?
Yeah. And you know, it seems like you've been really into it. And the cool thing is, even though it's owned by Facebook, it's nice because it's not like full of all that. It's, you know, the reasons why we avoid Facebook is all the fighting and all the weird stuff. It's all just a visual.
It's a visual, yeah.
People just sharing either videos or photos.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, because we're video people, as we say this on an audio podcast. But, you know, so it is fun to just be like sharing images of the house or of things around town. And so I've been having fun with it.
Yeah. And then, you know, because we haven't done a podcast here in a while, I don't know, I forgot kind of what we had last updated.
Yeah.
We really spent a lot of time this it's wintertime, kind of updating the house.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to do that, like steadily kind of improve.
Right.
We had a friend and his wife come and stay for a week, and we like traded them a free week of staying, and they did a lot of work in the house.
They did a lot of work.
They did like a lot of kind of spring cleaning, but in the wintertime they did a lot of painting, a lot of little fix-it work. It was like
stuff that we've had on our list for like a year, and we're like, okay, I'll get to that when there's time, you know.
We also installed brand new to us beds in the house.
In 2 of the rooms.
We have 3 bedrooms. We had 1 king-size bed, and then in the other 2 rooms, because they're kind of small, they were like pull-out beds. They weren't really like couch bed.
One was a couch bed.
Right. It was like an IKEA couch bed, and then the other had been like a trundle bed. And we did that because we were trying to maximize space. And then we realized, like, it's kind of ghetto. Like, if you're grown adults, you don't want to sleep on a couch bed.
But the hard thing was the rooms are small. But then we decided, look, if we could do a queen bed would fit in both of those. That would be better than pull-out beds, because the bed's ready. You don't have to like pull it out and make the bed, you know.
And it looks nicer. It's more comfortable. So what we did was a Craigslist. And so we started to go on the Craigslist in the next urban area, which is Washington, D.C. And we found 2 really nice
beautiful
beds for cheap. A West Elm bed and a room and board bed. And we got them super dirt cheap. We got really nice mattresses. And
so one of the beds came with the mattress, which was awesome. And then one of the beds, we actually had a really nice queen mattress. So it was great. We just were like, cool, we already have this. It's ready to go.
So I think the rooms look better. It's going to be more comfortable, and I'm really happy about that. The other thing we did too was in the kitchen, we had this little kind of small square. It wasn't even an island. It was just
a butcher block counter, but it was like maybe like 3 feet by 3 feet. It was pretty small. But the thing is, we're like, we don't want to take up all this room with the counter space, but we kind of needed to.
So we decided. So again, we went on Craigslist and got like a really nice IKEA.
It's like a kitchen island.
Yeah, it's nice, like a maple.
No, it's oak.
It's oak
butcher block.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's got shelves. It's much nicer now. So,
and we like hung a lot of the pots and pans from the butcher block underside, and it's great because it's funny because no one ever mentioned like, oh, you need more counter space, but I told my mom at one point, I was like, oh, we bought a new kitchen island. It's much bigger. She's like, oh, you really needed that. I'm like, why did you tell me? Come on.
So it's good.
Good.
All these, and I think all these like as little additions help. We painted some stuff outside, like a little toy box that was there.
That needed painting forever. It looks great now.
A cellar door that needed painting. Something I guess we haven't really talked about together too much was, so there's a stream that is a boundary of our property.
Yeah.
But there's like a little path that I had to make to get to it.
Right.
Because it's a little bit rocky and it's bushes. So I spent an afternoon once like cutting down stuff. And then I actually got a really colorful, like a climbing, it's rope.
It's like a bright yellow nylon rope.
And kind of like tied it among all these trees because it's probably about 100 feet through the woods.
Yeah.
To get to this. There's like a stream with like a watering hole.
Well, the thing about the little hole area is if it's really hot out, you just hop in there.
Right.
It's not so much that you're like swimming laps, but you're like getting cooled off in this little like
right. I mean, it's
pool.
not what you think of like in a Norman Rockwell painting where there's like a big a watering hole and kids are like jumping off of trees.
It's like a small.
It's basically like a little hot tub.
Right.
It's like a natural pool, and so anyway, it's kind of an experiment. When it gets, it's still too cold to really tell people to go there. But it's when it's warmer, I'm going to encourage, especially younger people, that it's want to kind of trek in the woods. It's a little secret place.
It's like glamping.
We'll see what happens. It is like glamping.
Well, what's funny is you said you cleared it off. You did it on a time when I wasn't over there, so I haven't actually seen your path yet. And I would love to take some photos. Like when the pool is filled up, I mean, we should maybe on like a really hot day, we should like jump in there and like take photos of us in there so it's like obvious. Like, look, you can like hop in this little pool. Well, what's funny is forever since we bought the house, back in 2011. We have been like, we should install a little pool in the backyard because there's a perfect spot for it. Pools cost a fortune.
Yeah.
They take a lot of upkeep. I mean, they just cost so much money. But,
we actually went to our local pool installation guy just to see how much it would cost. And we're talking like $20,000
plus
minimum.
Minimum. I mean, if we wanted like the nice pool and not a big pool, I'm talking like you jump in, you go for a dip, you cool off, $50,000 like minimum. So it was
so crazy.
It's so crazy. But if you're like a fancy rich person who wants that at your house, you're like, that's not that bad.
But, you know, where we live,
we're not.
I think that makes more sense if you live in Florida or California, where basically you can swim almost all year round. Where we live, really, you could only swim 4 months out of the year.
Well, what's funny is the pool people even said that. It was funny because they're like, yeah, there's like 3 to 4 months that are swimmable. And we were like, we're not spending that much for that. But what was cool was you were like, but we have a little swimming hole. Like, we should just emphasize that and, like, make a way to get down there and then, like, take photos. Yeah. Like, that's way cheaper. Yeah, seriously.
You know? Okay, a couple of things about just, like, I guess, business stuff. So, we had gotten off, or were we off of TripAdvisor for a while? I don't know.
For about a year, yeah.
And then we got back on it. We were like, let's just try this site, TripAdvisor. And actually, we've actually been booked by 3 different groups in the past several months. And, you know, the thing about TripAdvisor is more like hotel, because, you know, like our place is up against hotels in a local area. And, you know, the way of communication, and there's really no way to tell who's booking, is just a name.
Well, VRBO is like that too, right?
Yeah.
Like they're similar. It's not like a social... Right. You know, like Airbnb is like your profile photo and like, who are you?
So, you know, I always make sure I go to meet the people off of TripAdvisor. They have been awesome.
They've been so nice.
And, I mean, part of me is like, why are you doing it through TripAdvisor? Because actually what we do is TripAdvisor's our most expensive prices. Right. Just because we're like, we don't really understand this site. Let's just put it up high and
don't touch it.
Add taxes and just don't touch it. So people are paying a premium when they come to TripAdvisor. But they've been nice. They've been couples.
They've been young. Yeah. They've been hip. Like, it's not like you're like, oh, the people who don't understand new website. No, it's just like, that's just how they found us.
It was a nice bonus. Yeah. And then VRBO/HomeAway, you know, that's about another 20% of its bookings. You know, we qualified for some program they have where we can get paid in advance.
Right, exactly. So on Airbnb, as people who are on Airbnb know, you get the payout the like morning after someone checks in.
Right, as long as it's complain.
Right.
With VRBO, we're in this program where, you know, if someone books in January, but they're not coming till June, we get the money
in January.
The week of January,
right?
Which is great, and you know we're not a wasteful people, but it is a little bit of a issue sometimes because if someone books for a week, like is happening, it's next week. That money we've already
it's already gone.
You know, I mean, you know, it went towards our taxes, so it's fine. But it is a little bit of we're not going to get a payout here.
It's like we already got paid, which we shouldn't be complaining about. But still, anyone who does Airbnb who gets that payout email the next morning, it's the best email. You're like, oh, yeah. Right, you know, like, but for VRBO, you're like, we got some direct deposit that we didn't even get an email about. And it's like, I don't remember it. But yeah, it's just a different way of doing it.
And then the other thing is with Airbnb, you know, we really like the phone app. I keep in contact with people a whole lot through the Airbnb, its mobile app. And one thing, and, you know, we get its notifications. So if someone books or has a question.
Right.
The problem is we need different sounds for different things. So I wish there was a different notification noise for bookings versus just person has a question.
Versus like when someone's checking out and you're supposed to leave a review. Like it's all the same. Like someone will check out on a Sunday and it's like, leave a review for so-and-so. And I'm like, damn, I thought that was an inquiry, but it's just like some random notification. So yeah, that's what I don't understand about a lot of apps, actually, where you're like, if something different is happening, allow me to choose a different noise. So then I'm like, oh, that's an inquiry. I need to look at that, rather than leave a review for. I'm like, of course I'm going to leave a review. Because, don't fool me.
Because we're so hungry for people to book. Just anytime I hear that Airbnb noise, I'm like a Pavlovian dog, where I'm just like and then it's like, oh, it's just,
it's just like reminding me that someone's coming next week. Okay, great.
Okay, just some numbers that we like to share. So in 2017, out of 365 nights, we've booked 71 nights.
Not bad.
Our goal's 200, so we're, way far from getting our goal of 200.
Right.
But, it's not bad. Since we're January, February, March, we're 3.5 months in, 71 nights.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. So, since we last talked, which has been a while, we booked 34 nights. So, we've kind of had a rush of,
a big chunk.
Spring bookings.
Some bookings in the summer. Ahead of, I also think that this is my theory, too, now. With the internet, we're like this, too. When we're traveling, we generally aren't, booking stuff, 3 months in advance. Maybe a month in advance is people who are on top of their stuff. But I really think people, because there's so much variety and so many different sites you can go on, and you can choose between a hotel and an Airbnb, people are doing stuff last minute.
Yeah.
And we see that on Airbnb, where someone's like, oh, I'm coming this weekend.
Right.
You could do that before, but things would be booked up. But you can see the availability just on the fly on your phone, that I feel like people feel confident doing stuff last minute.
Sure, and even though it's been, even though it's spring, it's still been a little bit chilly in our area.
Yeah.
Yesterday it got down to, almost freezing.
Yeah.
So
it was cold.
We're hoping that as spring is really here and it's super nice every single day, that we get those bookings.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what we call our... It's River House.
Because it's near the river.
Right, and that's the second rental that we bought. We bought it in 2015.
The very end.
Right.
We basically bought it at the beginning of 2016.
We've been renovating it, but we had to put that on hold.
As we mentioned.
Unfortunately. So we started to renovate that place October 20th.
Yes.
And we were full on working on it for 4 months.
Straight.
And so our goal was to get it ready for being rented right now.
Right.
And so we almost made it.
Now I will say this.
Almost, until we got hit by that tax bill.
It was that tax bill. But if we had done our original plan, which was not to add a room, it was just renovate the house.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Sure.
Right? So we would have been done.
Right.
But we were let's be crazy ambitious, which is good because it's going to be beautiful and awesome and whatever.
Yeah.
And it adds square footage, which is very important. So it's tough because I think we were very ambitious time wise, but then we got ambitious design wise too. Yeah. So it got a little bit.
I have no regrets about any decision we made. It's just the way
the way it works.
The cookie crumbled, right?
Yum.
Okay, so I think since we last talked, and before we had to kind of put everyone on hold and send our workmen home, we finished the drywall.
Yes.
It's mudded. We had the interior walls painted.
Yes.
We had a bunch of outside details all done, so a soffits in,
overhang, cedar overhang,
trim, and lattice work. We did the outdoor deck.
The railing.
Almost got done. We got
it's half done.
All the posts up. We need to put the it's metal
the cable
wire inside.
The stainless cabling. Right. Yes.
So when we go over there now, it feels like we're
close,
kind of in that last stage.
Yeah.
And so we have to go away on a work trip.
Yeah.
To make some money.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna pick back up in mid-May.
Yep.
So we've already kind of started telling our guys who we're gonna work with when it's going to get started, and this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed here. Okay. The house needs the floors installed, sanded, and polished.
That's downstairs. So upstairs is installed already.
We're putting in really nice, heartwood pine floors.
Yes.
That needs to get done. We need to put wood trim around the windows and baseboards.
Yep.
We have a carpenter who's going to make it out of old flooring.
Right.
We need to install the kitchen.
Yeah.
And we need to install the bathroom.
Yes.
So, all the pipes and electricity's there. We have, stove and refrigerator. We have all this stuff. We just need to actually kind of install it all.
Right.
Put in. We're not going to do like cabinets or anything like that. We're going to put like countertops with shelves.
Right. That's what we do in every kitchen we've done, which is 2 kitchens.
So we're going to work with, a single carpenter.
Yeah.
Who with us, we're going to figure that stuff out.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be too difficult, but we have to install its bathroom too, and that's there's already a tub, and we just need to pick a sink and put some shelves in.
Yeah, it's not hard. Yeah. It just has to get done.
We need to bring our electric guys back because they just need to finish up. I mean, it'll take them half a day.
It's the final, so they need to put in all the lights. It's like these LED recessed lights, so the cans are in there, but they have to put the finished parts, and they have to install the outlets.
Right.
That's like a day of work for them.
We need to tile these outdoor areas, the front porch, and there's going to be, it's like a little barbecue area to tile or stone. Yeah. That stuff. We need to get the outside painted.
Yes.
The good news is we found a really good local painter
we love him.
We found, and he's super affordable.
Does stuff super fast. I'm like, oh, I love you.
We have to. It's finish your driveway.
Yeah. One last slab.
Yeah. So we decided we're just going to go for it, no matter, even though it's a good investment, but instead of having a gravel road up to our house,
it's just all concrete.
It's going to be all concrete.
Look, it's expensive, but the gravel,
it's just going to be sweet.
Yeah, the gravel, like your tires, if you don't have 4-wheel drive, your car is just like, I hate this.
We're just going for it being really nice. And the other thing is we need to do some landscaping and gardening. That means like building some garden beds.
Now we have done some landscaping. Right. You have been planting stuff
and we do all of that work ourselves. So actually, this a lot of this stuff is done in parallel. So while guys are doing a floor, we can be doing a landscaping and all that stuff. Totally. And then we get to bring over all the stuff that we've been gathering and scavenging to furnish the place.
I mean, that's the fun part that I'm like, that's the part I want to do.
I mean, like, we have, like, parts of our house that have, like, piles of different, like, here's all the plumbing stuff.
Like, our entire bedroom is taken over by, like, furnishings and stuff.
And then we actually have a storage area.
Storage unit that we rent. With, like, furniture, an oven, a refrigerator.
so it's ready to go. So I'm hoping once we get started, we'll be done in 2 months, but we'll see. I mean,
I think 2 months is a good estimate. I really do, because I think that's if we really push it and you're over there every day.
So basically, I was hoping we would get it done by like late spring. Unfortunately, it's going to be more like, a middle of summer.
But that's okay. Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is.
We'll get it up and get it going,
And then just kind of like a random thought. We'll just, because we've been talking a lot since we did the last podcast. And, we've been kind of debating about like where we are after this one is done.
Right.
And the question is, and anyone that has a rental probably asks themselves the same thing, is, are we done buying places and getting as rentals, and do we just focus on like paying off the mortgages on these things, or just like a saving cash?
Right.
Or are we still expanding?
Right. That's always the question.
Like, do we enjoy doing this enough where like, and we're young enough, like, do we want to get another place?
Right.
And what do you think the answer is?
We're probably going to get another place. I do.
It's true.
Mean,
no,
look,
I agree.
I am a real estate nerd. Like, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. I think I always have been. My parents were that way. And we live in a place where it's actually possible to acquire.
Well,
so
here's kind of an example. So your father was really smart. Him and some buddies bought into this 3-bedroom house.
Three family house. Right. It's 3 apartments.
Right. In
Boston.
Jamaica Plain, Boston.
Jamaica Plain. Anyone who knows Boston knows Jamaica Plain is super cool.
And
now.
I mean,
it wasn't back then.
It's like one of those like awesome stories where they bought it when no one else was buying in the area. $150,000, and now the house is worth like $1 million. And
if they fixed it up.
And we always like kind of like poke at him like, why didn't you buy more?
Right.
Like
you had the opportunities.
You could have been a super
millionaire. Now his partners, I will say, so he owns it with 3 people.
Right.
His other 2 partners did do what we were saying. And they bought a ton of houses. Like both of them actually, they're millionaires. Right. Straight up, they've sold a couple of their properties. Right. They're good.
Like one guy has a place on Cape Cod.
It's Martha's Vineyard. That's even friggin' that's where like the Obamas like they like vacation at Martha's Vineyard.
So that's what when we go back and forth of just like, do we just like be grateful for what we have and just like start pumping out cash, pay off the debt, and then just like we're basically
good.
It's cruising. Or do we take advantage of this time and like get other places? And I think I agree too. Like let's expand a little bit, not in a kooky, like stupid way.
But I think also like our instincts will tell us. Like if we're done with the river house and we're renting it and we're like, okay, this is too much for us to handle. We have 2 rentals. They're going well. We love them. We're juggling maintaining them and cleaning them and getting them, laundry done. If we're like, that's enough, we might.
Sure.
But I don't know.
I don't think that's a problem because now that we have a cleaner to help us, we can always get another cleaner. Exactly. I mean, like, we've done well last year realizing we didn't have to do everything ourselves.
Right.
And so
helps.
We've been good about finding people to help us. And, it's good. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
everything's a step at a time.
Right. Or what we do is we acquire something, don't do anything with it right away, and start paying down debt. I mean, real estate's so cheap that like mortgages on some of these houses, you're just like, they're not. Not that bad.
I'll kind of push back on that. I mean, I think it's mentioned before. We're starting to get into a bit of a hot.
The market's coming back.
Where I feel like things aren't as cheap as they used to be. Yeah. I think the whole idea of like buying up real estate's kind of become popular in the mainstream. So I'm not. Right. So I don't think that there's just great deals all around.
Right.
I still think they're out there, but anyway. So that's why I think we're going to keep expanding a little bit, but not get too crazy.
Right. Yeah, I think we know what we can handle, I think, most of the time. So, okay. That is it for the podcast this time. You can check out our blog at shampooandbooze.com for the links we discuss and to join the conversation. You can also leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or through YouTube, and you'll always get the latest episode. You can listen to our other podcast where we talk about how we sell stuff on the internet to fund our renovations, and that is at scavengerlife.com. Bye!